Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. We are live on YouTube and everywhere I exist on Facebook. We're just going to jump right in because we have a lot to cover. And I'm really excited. I mean, let me just start off with that. I'm really excited to be presenting to you this material because I worked on it. It's very personal for me. And it's a collection of basically the conversations I have with clients on a daily basis because we've all been through this stuff before. So I'm just going to jump right into it and I'm going to share with you my presentation screen. So welcome everybody to Getting Over Your Ex, why it's important and what makes it so darn difficult. So introduction. Let's see what we got here. Now, getting over your ex can be difficult, of course. I mean, if you're like me, you may feel like you just don't even want to let go sometimes, or that you can't. But it is important to do so in order for you to move on with your life. In this live stream, we're going to discuss why it's difficult to get over your ex and why it's so hard. We're then going to talk about the benefits of doing this and how getting over your ex will empower you to be happy in your life no matter what. The goal for getting over any trauma, any difficult situation is to be happy, right? Now, in this context, we are getting over an ex, a breakup, a marriage, or we're going right through it. Wherever you're at in your healing journey, you and I have a right to be happy no matter what. We're going to go through challenges. We're going to see different things happening in conditions. Absolutely. The difference is you and I have a choice on how we move through these challenges because how you show up matters in your life. It's not important that you have challenges. It's important how you handle them, especially when there's family involved, especially when we got kids, especially when everyone's watching you. We want to model healthy healing through our trauma. And so that's what this class is about. So jumping right in. Now, first, who the heck am I, right? So I am Anthony Cortino, and I am a divorce and relationship coach. I'm also with a national firm, Vesta, a new vision for divorce. I'm a vetted divorce professional. 95% of my clients are actively going through some stage of a divorce process, whether they're in discernment, deciding if they're going to file for divorce, whether they're actually filing for it and moving through the process, or they're post-divorce, sometimes 3 and 4 years post-divorce, still experiencing the impacts and pain of what they went through. And then getting back in the dating world, dating post-breakup, post-divorce, later in life. I'm 42 years old. I have been through some relationships. And trust me, I have all the excuses, just like you, on why I should behave differently in my next relationship. And what I've found is that none of that is valid. If I use my past as an excuse to change who I am today, well, then I'm not giving you all of me. So what's the point of even being in a relationship? So as a divorce and relationship coach, I experienced this on both sides after years and years of my own issues around how I operate through my own separation and breakups in my relationships. I'm also a Reiki master and a spiritual empowerment coach. Basically, my approach is always, if you've been watching my channel, there is always going to be a very logical, scientific, psychology background to other options of how we approach these things. And what I have found is that when you're meeting me face to face, you've probably already gone through a year or more of therapy. You know all the labels. You know what the trending issue is. And you're showing up in front of me going, Anthony, I'm just ready to drop it all. I don't care what happened. I just want to be freaking happy. And that is where the spiritual empowerment comes in. When all else fails, we got to go in because we've already experienced turning out over and over and over again with no real results lasting more than mere moments. Also mentor men and women in their time of crisis, of identity. When we go through a challenge, we wonder who the hell we are anymore. Whether it's been 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, there is a part of our identity that gets trapped, lost in the mishmash of two becoming one and then doing a separation. Who the hell am I anymore? That's where we have to do the work. Finding our identity, maybe through spirituality, just maybe. Because returning to our natural state is so important. We want to live our life prosperously, abundantly, without fear. So, the question, why should you even get over an ex? Well, that's a deep question because I like some of my memories around my exes. And maybe I want to replay those. Now, that's a nice thought. However, when it comes to the concept of am I getting over something? Am I moving forward in my life? The question of why should I get over my ex is usually because myself, or if you're my client, you're anyone that's suffering through this, you're probably reliving the moments that weren't so great over and over and over again. Vince, stop it. My dog likes to chew on bones when I go live, apparently. So, and I can't really do anything about that. So we're gonna move forward. Yeah, moving through the process of a breakup and getting over something, I'm going to be obsessing about all the details. What could I have done differently? What could I fix? Was I right? Was I wrong? Yeah, that ends up being a whole lot of wasted energy. So I don't know about you, but when I've gone through a breakup, a really heavy one, I may spend a day in bed. I may not have gone to work in the past. Some people spend 2 or 3 or 4 days in bed. And if they're still going through the process of those last minute phone calls and texts, or exchanging materials, or if we're going through a family separation, right? Exchanging kids, this doesn't go away. We're constantly still having opportunities to give our energy away when we haven't gotten over the breakup. So energy drain is a reason why I want to get over an ex. Also, because then I'm also might be missing out on life, right? I could be hiding. I definitely have hid away from the world. And if you're out there listening to this and you're watching it live or on the replay, please make a comment. Have you ever hid away from the world when you were going through challenging issues in your marriage, through a separation, a breakup? How long did you actually hide in that process? I'd like to say it maybe once or twice, maybe for a couple of days, but the reality is I typically went through a 6-month hiatus, celibacy, hiding from the world, just staying in the shadows, doing my healing work alone. Now, there's obviously benefits to parts of that. However, it's very easy for me to lean into it more than I probably needed to, which just actually extended the healing process. So yeah, if I need to get away, that's great. But did I sometimes choose to stay hidden away for weeks and months at a time? Ask yourself that question. What's your answer? Only you know. Only you know. Thank you so much. Got someone saying they're going through this right now. I feel you. Thank you so much for their comment. Yeah, you're not alone. You're not alone. And I do this for a living. And yet, if I go through something big, I still have to reset who the hell I am and do the process that I teach. And sometimes I just don't want to. I want to get lazy. So yeah, why should I get over an ex? There's a lot of reasons why, and why it's hard, but we're going to go through that. So moving on, I get tired of missing out. Our natural state is to be a lover, right? It's our natural state of being. We were all born. If we were on the playground and a kid scuffed their knee, before the adults in our life started to tell us what we should do to assume whether a person is good or not, or worth or not, we naturally went over and helped the other children on the playground. So yeah, it's our natural state of love and unconditional love. That's who we are. The rest of it is just the illusion that we use because we think we're protecting ourselves when we actually just end up closing ourselves off. So yeah, I want to get over an ex because I want to live my life and I'm tired of missing out. So now why it's difficult for me? A couple different reasons. Today, we're going to just highlight a few. The story. Yeah, the story that I tell, right? Inside my head, there is a movie of everything that I have experienced in a relationship. Now, when I'm going through the suffering part, the breakup part, the not wanting to let go, it's because there's a movie that's playing on tape, on loop throughout the day. When I'm not distracted, when I'm not numbing myself out, if I haven't let go, that tape boots up immediately. That's my story. And that is the reason why it can be difficult for me to let go of anything, but especially a relationship, because they're so important to me. To me, I value relationships as sacred because they're a part of who I am. So yeah, I can put a lot of attachment to the process. So why it's difficult for me is because the story that I'm playing on autopilot in my head. That's just the autopilot part. Now, it goes even further. It's also in how I may be talking about my ex, right? So especially in the beginning of the process, when I'm rationalizing, when I am condemning, affirming, and I'm just leaning backwards and forwards into disempowering thoughts and empowering beliefs and saying I'm empowered, but I'm doing it with a lot of anger, right? All of those things, the way I talk about an ex, I know over the years, there's been a process where I wanted to vent. And I definitely was in a belief that venting would somehow make me feel better. Well, if you work with me, you'll hear this. So I'm going to say it to you here on the live stream. If I am in the corner, hidden away for months at a time, and no one knows what I'm going through, yes, that is the time to reach out to a trusted friend, trusted advisor, to let them know the story so they know that I'm suffering and I'm asking for help. That is empowering. But what I experience, what I see around me, especially with social media and with most of my friends and even family members growing up, I've seen this, and you have too. We believe that sharing and venting means that we can do it 5, 10, 15 times. How many comment below if this resonates with you. How many times did you tell your breakup story? Meaning, did you have to tell your hairdresser and your 3 or 4 best friends and that friend you haven't seen in 6 months when you went to the bar or met him at a party, or when someone called you up from school and said, hey, how's it going? How many times do you think you told the story of your pain, your trauma? Yeah, I raise my hand because I've done that. And if I'm not careful, even with what I know, I can still do it because it's so easy. It's a habit. Habits become hard to break because we installed them. So how I talk about my ex is definitely going to influence it. The words that come out of my mouth are going to influence it. Yes. Thank you so much, Paulette. Oh my God, so many times, right? I have to catch myself even now, especially if I'm already upset about something else. If I'm already in the wheelhouse, I'm already in the vicinity of being triggered, being upset, feeling disempowered, it's only a matter of time before I go, oh yeah, and there's that one thing. And I'm still wondering what she's doing, what she's thinking about. And then all the labels start coming out. I have to grab it. and stop that. So moving on, it's not just how I talk about it, right? Now, trust me, if I ran into you out in public and we had this conversation, you probably would say to me, but Anthony, no, I don't talk about my ex. Or maybe you might say to me, Anthony, I don't talk about my husband or my wife that way, right? I just think about it. Well, regardless of whatever religion you follow, whatever coach you listen to, it's the consensus is 100%, right? There is a certain aspect of thoughts, words, and actions, right? There's a certain impact when I take action in the world. There's also an impact for the thoughts in my head. Now, if I was talking to you about meditation, I would tell you this. I would rather you meditate for 30 seconds to 2 minutes, a minute, the moment you grab the door when you're running late to work, or when you run to the bathroom because you don't have time. I'd rather you do that 10, 15, 20 times a day than your 2-hour meditation in the morning. They're both great. But when I want to change the program that I'm running by, what helps me and helps you is to find opportunities to pivot multiple times a day when I'm actually engaging and living and walking around, walking, talking, living the dream, living the prayer. Mindfulness and watching for my thoughts and where they go when I'm not paying attention, that is also extremely powerful and why it might be difficult for me to get over a relationship. And it has been. It has been. I'm good at not talking about it. The second stage is I got to watch out for the thoughts in my head, because those are going to, again, that's part of that movie, that story. They're going to run all day long if I'm not paying attention. Also, how I feel about my ex. Now, definitely, this is one that's a big deal. Thank you for the thumbs up. It's a big deal. How I feel, meaning that's in my body, right? My body reacts to memories, right? If you and I are sitting together in a movie and we are excited to watch that movie, and there's a roller coaster with the music and the dialogue and the story and the history is building and building and building. When the climax happens, when there's a resolve, when there's more trauma, I could cry in the middle of a movie theater. I could scream out of disgust, right? That shock, it comes out of my body. So yeah, when we experience trauma and depression and are living through a situation for a certain amount of time, it becomes our baseline. We become used to discomfort, right? We talk about get out of your comfort zone. A lot of times I can be stuck in I'm comfortable just being okay. I'm comfortable wanting more, but not actually doing anything to get it. I can be comfortable because my body is not experiencing an extra high or an extra low, because I have now calibrated to just blah. I call it the mundane on my spiritual awakening journey, right? It's the mundane. I can get stuck in that boredom and it sucks, right? So the feelings, right? You might be saying, but Anthony, I get it. I think about the right thing, and I meditate, I visualize, I do my affirmations, I journal, I've gone to therapy, I've done all those things. But you know what? You know what, Anthony? I'm an empath. I feel it in my body, and I just like want to go, stop. Everyone's an empath. Everyone has that gift. How I use it is my choice. I perceive things. I'm sensitive to things just like you. That is a gift that I can abuse and make excuses so that I have a reason to be extra sensitive. That doesn't serve me, doesn't serve you. Okay? So yeah, the feeling in my body is just a habit. Going through the trauma, especially if I repressed some feelings. If I wanted to get angry, I didn't get angry. If I wanted to cry, but I felt afraid to cry because I might have been shamed by my partner. My partner might be standing over me with her hands on her hips saying, "What's wrong with you?" When I avoid getting angry and turn to crying. right? I get shamed no matter what I do. It's a very good opportunity for that to affect a chakra, cause a blockage, right? Not a big fan of suppression. Withholding from time to time, consciously, is healthy. Because if I consciously withhold, I'm going to hold myself accountable. And when I get to a space, I'm going to have an opportunity to release and get the benefit of that healing, right? Suppression or withholding. The difference is, am I conscious or am I unconscious, right? What's running on autopilot in the back end, right? So my feelings in my body about an ex can keep me stuck in that story, reliving it over and over and over again. It's not healthy at all. Now, let's see, what's next? Also, why it can be difficult, it's the meaning that I assign to the relationship, right? The meaning I assign to you, my past relationship, all the relationships I had before. That can make it very, very hard, because if I assigned a lot of meaning, especially if maybe I was in an emotional slump because I was lonely for a while and I was craving that companionship, that intimacy, because I had lost the intimacy with myself, by the way. That's what that is. But that's a whole live stream. It's a whole other class. If I've lost the intimacy connection, I'm just craving it, and I go through all the steps to attract and gain a partner. Well, now there's a good chance that if I came from lack, if I came from not already being whole when I was by myself, then I may be under an illusion that I was whole because of my partner. Again, sound familiar? I can call myself out. It definitely sounds familiar to me, and I see it every day. I see it in people who are my clients. I see it in my friends and my family. And I understand the pain, the meaning that I assign to my relationship, a marriage, a breakup, a divorce, a job loss, a death. It's my meaning that I assign that makes it so hard to let go. Because when I assign a meaning to it, I'm now putting a label, a valuation of my parts. So if I lose the relationship, I'm going to be affected. That wobble, that two becomes one. Now I have to come back, be myself again. All illusion. The breakup, I may be assigned to, well, if I knew I was right, or if I knew I was wrong in a relationship, well, then I'm going to have an attachment to what the breakup means. I hear you. Definitely. Time without family is hard. And there's definitely steps. And if we're doing this process, we're taking one step forward, maybe two steps back one day. But we're going to move forward a little bit at the time. Thank you so much for sharing. You are not alone. You are not alone. Definitely many years without my daughter, seeing her as often as I wanted to. I feel you. Thank you for sharing in the comments. So if my attachment was based, I'm a good person because I'm in this relationship, well, if I lose it, if there's a divorce, if there's the breakup, I may associate that I am bad. Something is wrong with me because I could not make this. And I may romanticize the relationship. It was perfect relationship. It was perfect. I ruined a perfect relationship, right? Or I may be damning it. I may be the persecutor on the drama triangle. I may be just pointing the finger. I didn't do anything wrong. I got my stuff together. Yeah, they're the problem. Yeah, that's an illusion too. That ego is not going to serve me. It's just going to cause more pain. So those are definitely more reasons to look at on why it's hard. Now, the deeper question, there's a deeper question here that sometimes I'm not ready to answer. Maybe I need to ask the question. Ask yourself this question. Why don't you want to get over your ex? I know I can say I want to. I might be even crying that I want to get over something. But when we have there's a conscious level of this work that's involved in healing. There's also a subconscious level. So I can say the affirmation. I can say I want, I want, I want. I can do some action to move on. There's also a subconscious thing that's involved, that's driving the bus. I mean, it's what allows me to sleep and breathe at the same time. It keeps our hearts beating without thinking about it. Yeah, the subconscious is creating and running the show 99% of the time. The part when I'm conscious is just a small blip in the process of my dream, my prayer, my life, my being. I can only go so far with conscious thought and conscious will alone. There's a backseat driver there that I'm completely unaware of. So sometimes I may not be able to get over my ex because I just don't want to. I have so many memories, so much of me, of my growth. Right? I said I see my relationships as sacred. I cherish every single one of my deep, meaningful, the love of my life kind of relationships. They still are with me. And I can talk about all of them fondly. Now, when I wasn't over it, I certainly wasn't talking very fondly. And if I was keeping my mouth shut, I certainly wasn't thinking about them very fondly. Meaning, I either put them above me or below me, and it just doesn't serve. It does not serve. I hear you. 30 years, not easy. I hear you. I understand. There's a part of this that's I've definitely felt like a victim to time. And it's bizarre because sometimes we can just get over things so quickly. Sometimes we can just carry it for years and years and years and years and years. One thing I'll definitely know is for sure is that when someone just says to me or to you, just give it time, that's not the answer. I have to do something to get engaged, to get involved, to collapse time and space so I can be happy right now. Now, I'm 42 years old. I've been doing this specific profession for 6 years. I've been studying this stuff since I was 12. I bought the books, burned the books, bought them again. So thank you for sharing 30 years. Thank you. And I get it. I'm missing the stimulation of conversation, right? There was times when I thought I wanted companionship, and then I got the companionship, and then realized I wanted the intimacy. Different levels of intimacy. It isn't always the physical component, right? Maybe I went out there and got the physical piece, right? I've had clients who've gotten out there and gotten the physical part, and then they're not satisfied. What we're really craving is that connection, the true intimacy, which leads to what am I doing? How am I showing up in the world? What do I think about myself in this relationship or post relationship? So thank you so much for everyone commenting. It is painful. It is hard until it becomes less hard. And that's why we're talking about this today. Thank you, everybody. So moving on. Now, okay, yeah. Now, why I didn't move on. Now, this is an opportunity for me to share something personal. I often get very personal in my sessions, very compassionate. There's no power differential. So, for me, in my experience, I saw so much. Let's just put in front of center now. Yeah, there we go. In my last relationship, there was so much growth on both our parts, but really this is about me, right? And you may notice that I'm not putting anything on anybody. So did anyone notice that? I take 100% responsibility for my parts and everything that happens because I'm the one that has to deal with it now. Nobody else, right? So I put a lot of growth and effort, and we had these epiphanies and the challenges, and we overcame them. We would break up, get back together, we do the no contact, and that wouldn't work, right? Learning to love at a deeper level, learning more about loving myself through loving another person in my 40s with their own children, right? So I became attached to that feeling. And then one day I was able to let it all go when I realized that the person that was creating all that, what I was feeling, what the sensations, the 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 inability just to see anybody else in the picture, as amazing as my partner was, they were not responsible for the love that I felt for them. They were not responsible for that. I came into this time space reality. I was born loving. Everybody watching this was born loving. So when I realized that the love I felt for this person, this amazing woman, that was coming from me. And trust me, I learned all of this stuff, right? Drama triangle, labels, who's a narcissist, who's not a narcissist, who's toxic, right? Using specific language that is supposed to be used during high conflict. We did all those things. None of it actually worked to change the situation. It just became more systems of control for both of us. It didn't work. So when I realized that everything that I put on this person was coming from me, I was able to move on. Now, did I have moments where I'd have a flare up and maybe wish I didn't send a text or two afterwards? Of course, that's going to happen, right? Being enlightened, healing is not a one-stop shop. We don't become enlightened and get a degree that says, you got this down, you're good to go. I have a, it happened for me, not to me mindset. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you so much. That's so true, right? It's a reframing. I have to reframe the thoughts in my head because no one's going to change. Only I am. And that's on me, not on you, not on anybody. So thank you for that comment. So that's why I didn't. And that's when I finally changed the narrative, when I realized that was all me. That was all me. Now, so let's remember something that we may have forgotten. Is that you and I have the power to change the thoughts in our heads, right? So if you're tracking since the beginning, we talked about story, why it's so hard to let go, why it's so hard to get over something. This is one piece of it. If I believe that I can't stop thinking about it, Anthony, I can't stop thinking about it. I feel it in my body. My mind is racing, right? There's an illusion that comes with that you think that there's times that I think I can't control the thoughts in my head. There was a time many, many, many years ago before I started doing this where I was so consumed by the obsessive thoughts in my head that I could not go through a waking moment from sun up to sundown. If I was alone, I had to be playing something on YouTube, on Netflix. I remember I even took things into the shower so I could play it because I did not trust or feel comfortable with my own thoughts in my head because I was spiraling, right? Now, I used a technique to numb out, which didn't teach me anything, right? I might as well have taken a drug or drank something because staring at the football game, staring at any sport, staring at a horror movie, staring at a movie about loss, that is a trance that just continues the story. And when you watch something, when I watch something, we go into theta brainwave frequency, we zone out. And when we zone out, we're in a state of hypnosis, like we are from the ages 0 to 7 years old, where there's no filter. Everything is coming in. No wonder you and I may believe that I can't control the thoughts in my head. I'm here to tell you, you can control the thoughts in your head. Just because you can't do it right now, this minute, doesn't mean you can't do it. It takes practice. It took practice for you to get where you are. It will take practice to get out of that. The habitual thoughts tell me that I cannot do it, right? Because I may be telling you, I can't get over it. I can't stop thinking about it. That's not helping. That's not helping. The thoughts of all my previous relationships, especially if there was betrayal. If I have told myself if I've had the judgments based on some data and my feelings and my intuition, and I think I trust my gut, especially if I believe there was betrayal, that's going to add to the habitual thoughts, right? Because here's the story I may say. I may say, this person did this to me just like everybody else. Sound familiar? Have you caught yourself saying just like everybody else? Or have you said, boy, I just can't ever get ahead? Same concept mentally. What we do in one place, we do in other places. There's no compartmentalizing anymore, guys and girls. Where we show up in one place, we show up the same way everywhere else. It's an illusion to think that we're showing up well in one area and not well in another. No, the reality is it's the same everywhere. So we want to look in the mirror and call ourselves out. The habitual thoughts can make it hard because they tell me I can't change. The words that I speak, the words that I speak are also affirming my disempowering beliefs sometimes. The feelings of my body, they tell me, no, I can't change. No, I need to think about this story. I need to play this tape again and again and again because I think it's going to make me feel better. I'm going to figure something out. No, that's just habitual thoughts. And our body is pumping us full of hormones, keeping us in that survival state. So that when we do feel good, we'll trigger ourselves again subconsciously and just look at the person around us or the events in our lives to go, see, my life sucks because of this person. Yeah, my body will tell me no with the feelings that I'm experiencing. So, question for you. What do you believe in? What do you believe in? Do you believe that you're too old? Do you believe that you're not good looking enough? Do you believe, insert a disempowering belief? What do you believe? Do you believe that you're broken and that you had to be with this person to be whole? Well, then definitely that's going to affect you. That's going to affect me if I enter into the situation believing that I'm not whole. I want to bring the screen back up so you guys see what I'm doing too. So you can follow along. There we go. What do you believe in? Do you believe in a higher power? Do you believe in the universe? Do you believe in yourself? These questions are important because if you don't know what you believe in, how are you going to know how to realign, how to reset after trauma when you lose your identity? If I've been cheated on, if I've been betrayed, if I've been lied to, or even if someone just left because they didn't like me anymore, right? If I believe something is wrong with me, then I'm going to find fault in them just so I can keep that alive. So if you believe in something else, a higher power, you might find some relief. So you have the choice to believe in your past or what's right in front of you. Anthony, you'll understand, I'm seeing this happen right in front of me. And it's just like everyone before. Yeah, we have to stop that pattern. Seeing things with my eyes, hearing things with my ears, that's just perception. That's not a special gift that I might have. We all have the power of perception. We see things with our eyes. We hear things with our ears. Our skin gives us sensations, vibration. We feel things in our body. Just because those things are and they have happened does not mean that I have to keep them active and alive. It is my choice to remember the past, tell the story. It is my choice to bring it into my present and praying into the future by affirming what happened. You have the choice to say what is right and what's wrong. I can look at my past. I can look at the current situation. I can say, this is right. This is wrong. I'm right. I'm wrong. They're right. They're wrong. That label is another illusion. It doesn't matter. I can get angry, I can get sad, and I can affirm that it does matter Yes, it matters if I want to still be unhappy. If I want you to agree with me that I have a right to be upset. Great. How often am I needing people to validate my pain? Once or twice is all that's necessary. And then my hope is that I'm moving up the emotional scale, the emotional ladder, so that I can be happy regardless. It was not easy. It is now for me. It wasn't in the beginning. It took a lot of work. And that's why I'm doing this. I want you to do the work because you are important enough. You deserve to be happy. Regardless of the tragedies in our life, we all deserve to be happy. So moving on. You have the choice to carry your wounds. And I can also choose to affirm them until they become scars. Right? Joe Dispenza talks a lot about this. Abraham Hicks talks about this. Eckhart Tolle. Everybody talks about this. Knee-jerk reactions. Yes, I am authentically living my life in the world. I'm gonna get sad. I'm gonna have an outburst. But when I choose to hold on to it for a long period of time, whether it's because I am noticing who's at fault to acknowledge my pain, whether I'm telling the story over and over and over again, whether I am reliving the nightmare in my mind as I go to sleep or try to go to sleep, or when I first wake up, I'm remembering that pain. Nothing anybody does is worth me not being happy eventually. I'm still gonna lick my wounds. I'm still gonna have bad days. I still do. But every time I get that consciousness again, my goal is to grab that thought, change the narrative, because I want to be happy and no one's gonna do anything to do it but me. You can choose to let them go. Because all you have to do is notice and choose. Notice the words coming out of my mouth and the thoughts that go along with it. Notice the thoughts in my head, and then notice how it's affecting the words coming out of my mouth and how my body is feeling. Is my heart rate going up? Am I getting anxious? Right? I can notice the thoughts. I can notice the words. I can notice my body. The gift of noticing is that that's the moment that I have the most power to choose. If I resist changing the narrative in that moment, it will be harder later. But every moment is an opportunity to rebirth myself into a new state of being, a new moment. I can walk out the door and choose, as the door is closing behind me, this is my new life. And I can do that every time I leave the door. That is the power that we all have. And all the gurus have said this. All the books have been written about this. Notice, have an awareness, and then choose something different. So let me know in the comments wherever you are, right, how this resonates with you, right? Is this a hell yes? This is exactly what I need to hear. I've heard it 100 times before, but now I'm hearing it in a way that I'm actually going to do something with it. Or is this a hell no, Anthony? Right? F you, bro. Right? I deserve my pain. Yes, I get it. All feelings are valid. I honor all the feelings that y'all are experiencing. I honor the pain. I honor the part of me that didn't want to let go of the pain. I honor everything I've ever done, because that's how I can reconcile Thank you. Got a hell yes. Got a hell yes. Got some hearts. So true. Thank you. Thank you. The story that we tell ourselves. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. It hurts. We get cheated on. Yeah, I get it. Been there, done that. Been there, done that. Thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing, everybody. Because that's how we build this community together, right? It's not just me. It's everybody. I may run into you getting groceries. We're all connected. But yet I'm still an individual. You're still an individual. So beautiful, beautiful sharing. All our feelings are valid. I'm not saying don't feel something. I'm saying acknowledge it, honor it, take responsibility for it, change your story. So now before we get into the visualization, right? If you're here, you know that we're going to do a visualization and meditation together. Before we do this, you will find when this is posted in the replay, there's going to be some links. I want to encourage you to join the growing community, Sacred Intimacy, where we look at empowerment by turning inward. That's empowered intimacy. I have processes, and I teach those processes so that we learn to turn inward to change things when we've already spent our life reacting and it doesn't work anymore. So you'll find a link below to my Sacred Intimacy community where we're growing and we can share more in a more private way. There's also going to be links to PDFs and also my show notes so you can get a copy of what I've been showing on the screen and my other notes. So please stay tuned, check this out after. Now that's what I wanted to share. Now we're going to go into the visualization. So let me get rid of this guy right here. And I prepared some music. The question is, am I going to be able to get to that feature right now? Because I don't want to get kicked out of the stream. Actually, you know what, guys? I think I have a solution. Almost there. Great. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to stay on camera. So you might see me looking kind of weird and kind of funny. As time goes by, my perception, yes, absolutely. When we look back, when we look at any success story, the story always ends with looking backwards with distance. And we always see things differently. So do what you need to do to get comfortable, everybody. If you gotta turn the lights off, right? I can't see you, you're gonna see me. And I'm just gonna freestyle a visualization that's been evolving for the last couple of weeks. And I'm really happy with it, and I think you're gonna enjoy it. So just gonna slow down. And I want you to focus on your breath. Focus on your breath. I don't want you to do anything with your breath. I want you just to be aware of it. Be aware of how it's hitting your nostrils. Some of us are living in cold weather. You might feel that sting as we inhale. And I just want you to notice as you breathe in and out, where does that breath go? Is it going into my chest? Is it going into my abdomen? Just notice where it's going. So I invite you to keep your eyes closed. If you have to move around, know that you come right back to this state. And as we get deeper and deeper, once we really get deeper into this, be aware when distracting thoughts come into my mind. I want to notice them and let them pass me by. Notice and let them pass. We may have children around. We may have dogs around. And depending where you're at in the world, you may be getting ready to go to work right now. And this time is your time. You are important enough to do this with us. So as you notice the breath becoming deeper and deeper, just notice your body becoming more relaxed, more fluid. The sensation of letting go. And now on the next breath, I want you to notice your pain that you're ready to let go of. The pain that maybe you're just newly aware of in a new way in this moment. Notice that pain. Give it a name. Give it space. And if you can feel it somewhere around you or in your body, just give it a little bit of attention. Where is my pain in my body? Now that you've found it, with love for yourself and care and strength, I want you to reach into that part of you, that wound. And I want you to gently take it out. And as you take it out, you notice the mass. It could be big, it could be small, but it does have mass. Make it a thing. Give it a name. Your pain is worth being named. And now I want you to notice a rock or an object. Wherever that is, I want you to reach out and grab that rock, that object. Pick it up. And looking at this rock, it has mass. Feel the weight of it. Give it a number. Ounces, pounds. Feel, acknowledge its presence. Make it real. And now, with the part of you that's holding on to the pain, the sadness, we now have an opportunity to do something with this thing that was buried inside us. And now I want you to have the idea of putting this thing that you may have carried for so long. I want you to imbue it in this stone, this object that has weight and mass of its own. And as you bring them together, this stone, this object, becomes black and dark. Nothing else changes, but somehow it's even heavier. Feel the new weight of this thing that you've been carrying around inside of you. Now we want to honor this thing. It's been a part of us. It's part of me. It's part of you. It served its purpose. It got me where I am today. I no longer resist it. I honor it. I bless it. And now I can choose. What do I do with this thing? This mass, this black rock. Now I can choose to throw it away. I can choose to put it away. And because I have the power to choose what I do with this thing that I carry, I can also choose to put it in my pocket and carry it with me some more. I want you to honor whatever you choose to do. It's all a gift. It's all valid. So I want you to make that choice with reverence. Do whatever it is you choose to do with your rock right now before we move on. Coming back to the breath. My breath reminds me that I'm alive. My breath reminds me that I'm important. I am worthy. I am sacred. And now, notice there's another rock. This rock is certainly different. I don't know what it is about this thing, but it's calling to me. It seems special. I want you to reach out and grab this new rock that's calling to you. And as you pick it up, see that sacred relationship that is you, that's eternal, that never goes away. I want you to see that in this thing, this stone, this thing that's calling out to you. And I want you to choose to put that beauty, that wholeness, that gold into this thing now. And as it becomes one with itself, You notice that it starts to change. It's not getting heavier, it's becoming bigger and bigger. And with that excitement, with that love, with that purity, with that surrender, you have to put this thing down because it's becoming too big to hold. And as you step back and observe it, what do you see? A doorway. A door that only you can see. This is your door. It's been right in front of you your whole life. Untouchable. Pristine. Perfect. Waiting and calling to you. Now, as you look at this door, as I look at this door, there's feelings of fear and excitement and sadness, and I need to get to this door, and I want you to reach for that handle. And as you touch that handle, you know what it feels like with your fingers, the palm of your hand. The temperature. And just as you start to turn that knob, fear comes back. Terror, pain. But you keep turning that door and you remember that you can choose whatever you want to do with your fear, with your sadness, with your pain. It is my choice. I choose to lean into my excitement. I turn the door a little bit more. And as I hear the tumblers, the cricks and the cracks of the door separating from the door frame, the hinges moving, I feel the temperature change. I hear sounds change. I hear voices. And I see a movie of my life. And I can get really excited now. This is my life. Right in front of me. Just waiting for me to step into it. Seeing your perspective from your own first person, from your own eyes, I want you to look at your life in front of you. What's outside? What tape is playing for you? What conversations are you hearing in your ear right now of love, connection, acceptance, forgiveness? What are you hearing? This is your new reality waiting for you. And as we all step one step closer to the threshold, just before I step over, I notice the fear is gone. The pain is gone. The story is obsolete. I'm a new person now, in this moment. New man, new woman. Rebirthed myself. And as I step through the doorway, the door handle is in my hand and it's closing behind me. I now hear the sound of the door creaking and cracking and the door frame coming together with the door. And I choose now to turn my back to the door as it closes behind me, looking forward, seeing everything that is my truth, my life, my prayer, my abundance, my prosperity, my family. The one I'm born with and the one I'm not born with. All the love around me. The love that I choose to show as my natural state. And now we feel it in our body as we are hearing the sounds, seeing the visuals. Now we feel it in our body. Where is it? What is it? Find it now. This is the new movie, the one that I choose. I'm asking you to choose to play a new tape every day. You now see it before you. Grab the pieces that you want to take with you forevermore, so that you can grab this memory and play this tape and this movie as you go to bed. When you wake up tomorrow, you can choose to play this story over and over again. When you change, your life changes. And I believe we've all changed in this moment together. And as we pull those memories with us and return as we began with the breath, honoring the journey, honoring the pain, honoring the love, honoring all of me and all of you. I hope you all enjoyed that. I bless you all. Love, love, love each other. And we'll see you next time. This has been Anthony Cortino, otherwise known as Sacred Cobra, signing off for now. Bless you all.